In today's special episode of Signature Buzz, we've pulled together two of the most respected voices in the industry, Larry Kendall, the creator of Ninja Selling, and Steve Shull, co-author of The Full Fee Agent, for a deep dive into the habits, systems, and philosophies that help top agents sell more without selling out. You'll learn why curiosity beats closing, why detachment creates freedom, and how to build a business that runs on trust, not transactions.
Welcome to Signature Buzz, your fast-paced weekly real estate sales meeting.
What we're trying to identify is where is somebody now and where do they want to go? We believe that our purpose and why we exist really is to help people go from the life they have to the life they dream about. Real estate is the vehicle we use to help them do that. Usually when somebody's selling a house and buying a house, there's a difference between where they are and where they want to go. And our job is to help them. It's not to sell real estate. It's not to convince somebody to do something that we want them to do. It's to help them go from the life they have to the life that they dream about. And the first step is to figure out where are they now and where do they want to go and how do they make decisions? You know, that gets into some of the neuroscience, some of the personality types, et cetera, on that. And so we ask a series of questions that are designed to identify where they are, where they want to go. Then we, in our head, try to come up with a solution for them. And then we try to build a bridge between where they are and where they want to go, or between their pain and pleasure and our solution. And then we just show them some simple steps to cross that bridge and see if they want to do it. And one of the things that kind of old school selling was about overcoming objections. Mm-hmm. At Ninja, we don't overcome objections. Nobody likes to be overcome. Instead, what we find is that if somebody wants to buy a home, but they want to think about it, old school would say, well, that's an objection. Well, let me tell you, you don't want to think about it. No, in Ninja, what we know is if somebody wants to buy a home, but they need some time to think about it, they're either confused or afraid. And the minute you start overcoming objections, it's going to make them more afraid. We believe the answer is to help them find clarity. And so we ask a series of questions to help clarify, help them get clear. And we could go a lot deeper, but I think when you ask what is the science behind this, what's the neuroscience behind this, there's a lot of it that's happening, and a lot of it is the questions that we ask. Some of the questions you may ask yourself, why would you ask that question? Well, I already know the answer, but I asked that question to start a dialogue internally with them and inside of them and help them become clear.
I love that. I mean, the agent needs to know where they're starting to get to where they want to end. I always say, if somebody asks me how to get to Fort Collins, Colorado, it's, well, where are you starting? If you're starting in Las Vegas, it's one route. If you're starting in Missoula, Montana, it's another route.
Yeah.
And yet our clients, they're the same way. They a lot of times they know where they want to end, but they don't know where they're starting a lot of times, right? And what's the biggest internal shift then agents need to make in order to just succeed in today's market, but just to succeed? What is an internal shift that they need to make?
I think if I could mention two things, Keith, I think one thing, one shift that they need to make is to stop selling and start solving. And you start solving by identifying pain and pleasure, and then provide a solution. Stop telling and selling. I think that's one of the habits we have to try to break of traditional salespeople who come to our classes. They just can't get away from wanting to be telling and selling. Or as one ninja said to me, he says, I was taught to show up and throw up.
Right.
And so I think that's one habit that's different. The second one would be on the side of generating business. You have to adopt the mindset in Ninja of being a farmer, where you plant seeds. It takes a while for them to germinate, for them to sprout, for them to grow, for you to have a harvest. The activities we'll teach you to do, we call them the Ninja 9 activities. For an experienced agent, will probably take 2 to 3 weeks to kick in and start to generate business. For a rookie, it could take 2 to 3 months for it to kick in. And you have to be a farmer during that period. You have to take care of the farm, take care of the plants, keep doing the activities, writing the notes, asking the questions, doing your real estate reviews. I can go through kind of the Ninja 9, but the challenge that I think when you're asking what's the challenge, they're not patient. They're used to being a hunter and gatherer, and they want to go out and they want to kill something and drag it home and eat it tonight, and then they want to go out again, and they're used to instant results, instant gratification. The Ninja system is relationship building. It takes time. We know exactly what to do to build those relationships, what to do to identify the business that's there within your client base. But the big frustration for a lot of people is they don't want to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah. Brandon, I know Brandon's talking about that we got accountability calls, and Brandon, go ahead with the question, but I know that's a big challenge, right? Is that they give up, the old picture, they're right there next to the diamond wall, but then they walk away because it doesn't work. So Brandon, go ahead.
The next shiny object, right? They see something else and they're on to the next thing instead of staying with it. I know a big part of it is the relationship building and work your database, doing the Ninja 9. And Keith talks about this too, the Ford technique. I mean, how does focusing on family, occupation, recreation, and dreams enhance client relationships and trust?
Well, I think you've hit one of the core pieces of Ninja, Brandon. We talk about the Ford. F stands for family and friends. O stands for occupation. R stands for recreation. Dreams. D stands for dreams, but dreams is really a category, anything about the future. So it could be, what are your plans for the weekend? What are your daughter's plans now that she's graduated? Anything really about the future. And what we know is those 4 areas, which we call Ford, are the core areas of most people's lives. There's nothing more important to them than their family, their friends, their career, what brings them joy, their hopes and their dreams. That's the core for them. What we also know is if there's a change in one of those 4 areas, it very likely could affect their real estate. Think about a change in family. They get married, they get divorced, they have kids, they become empty nesters. All those kinds of changes kind of drive their real estate. Likewise, occupation, they get promoted, they get laid off, they get transferred. Recreation, what brings them joy, their hobbies, etc. Their dreams, where are they now? Where do they want to be? Going from the life they have to the life they dream about. All of that drives their real estate. So one of the things we've learned is we don't go to a party or go to a ball game and say, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell a house? Do you want to buy or sell a house? Instead, we say, hey, how's the family? How's everything at work? What are you guys doing for fun? What are your plans for the holidays? And then we listen for change. If there's change in one of those 4 areas, it's probably going to lead to some change in their real estate. We teach a thing we call the business tracker. Sometimes it's called a sales funnel or a sales pipeline. The beginning of that pipeline is what we call a warm list. And you fill your warm list with Ford questions. You listen for change in those 4 areas. And if there's a change, then they go into your warm list. And you just kind of stay in touch. A good example would be a couple gets engaged. You see them at church, you see them at a game. Hey, what's going on? We just got engaged. They're all excited about that. That's a major change. They would go into my warm list and I would just kind of monitor, stay in touch with them. Because what I know is going to happen is this. Over the next year, they're probably going to want their own place. And they're probably each going to sell their place and they're going to buy their own place. And that's 3 transactions. Not going to happen right away, probably going to happen over the next year. But those forward questions are what fills the warm list that then goes to the hot list, that then goes to the listing or the under contract, and then goes to the closing. So we just track that. And what fills that warm bucket is your forward questions. And that's Ninja habit number 8. So we teach the Ninja 9. Maybe we should go through right quick what the Ninja 9 is. If that's all right, I'll just just take a few minutes. There's 5 daily habits, 4 weekly habits. So the 5 daily habits are designed to put you in the right energy space, put you in the positive mindset, and to remind you of your goals. So habit number 1 is to get up in the morning and be grateful. What are your gratitudes? What are your affirmations? Your gratitudes is what you're grateful for. Your affirmations is what you want in life. What is your goals? Number 2 then is to time block your day and your week. Number 3, and there's a lot of research on time blocking for commission salespeople, by the way. So take your to-do list and schedule it. That's habit number 2. Habit number 3 is to write 2 personal notes. Most powerful thing you can send to another person and becoming more powerful. We've modified it a little bit. We're saying not only write the 2 notes, but if you want to, do 10 individualized, 5 to 10 individualized text messages. Now, I learned this a couple of years ago. I had this young woman in class, Marissa, and we're teaching habit number 3, writing notes, and she raised her hand. She says, how do you feel about personalized text messages? I said, well, give me an example. She says, well, they're all individualized. It's not a blast. And sometimes I'll even include a video. I said, well, how's it working for you? And she said, well, I've only been in the business for 2 years, and I've done 100 transactions so far. And I said, I think I'm going to start suggesting that. I have a very high producer who started doing 5 text messages a day. He called me after the 3rd week, and he said, 100% of the people that I sent these messages to have responded, either by text, or 20% of them have called me and asked for a meeting. So that's a kind of an enhancement on habit number 3. Habit number 4 is to have that warm list. Pull that warm list out. Take a look at it. Is anybody ready to move from the warm list to the hot list? Habit number 5 is the hot list. Pull that out. You ask 2 questions. Who on this list is ready to write a contract? That should be top priority today. Question number 2 is, what's the next step for them to advance the sale? What's their next step in the process? They want to buy a house, but they haven't been to a lender yet to get pre-approved. So let's this week, let's help them get in and get that appointment with a lender. So those are the 5. It takes 15 to 30 minutes every morning. Ninja, what we call your Ninja 5. The 4 weekly habits are really the 4 that generate the business. Okay. Now, the 5 daily habits do to a certain extent too. We just heard about, Ninja habit number 3, the 2 notes and the 5 or 10 text messages. But habits 6, 7, 8, and 9, especially 6, 7, and 8. Habit 6, your client service calls. You should have a set time every day or every week that you time block to call all of your sellers, give them an update. All of your under contract buyers, give them an update. All your active buyers. You should be touching base with them on a weekly basis. Anybody that's referred you business, you should be calling them to give them an update on the referral, to be thanking them for the referral. This does a couple of things. Number 1, you're offering a fabled level of service. One of the biggest complaints that people have about realtors is they listed my house and then I never heard from them. If I want to know anything, I got to call them. They're not proactive. You want to be proactive, and that's habit number 6. The second thing that will happen is it will clean up the calls you receive from them. They know you're communicating with them on a weekly basis. They're not going to be calling you saying, hey, what's going on with my listing? Or what's going on with my contract? And the third thing that it does is it's your greatest source of referrals. What we know is every person in the United States, on average, knows 4 people who will move this year. And so you're in the process of giving them an update, talking about real estate, and it clicks in for them. People at work, people at church, somebody, a good friend, somebody at the health club wants to buy or sell real estate. So that's habit number 6. Habit number 7 is your 2 live real estate reviews each week. This is it's not a full-blown market analysis. It's a simple update on here's what's happening in the market. Mine was 1 sheet of paper from the MLS. Top of the sheet, here's what's sold in your neighborhood in the last year. Bottom of the sheet, here's what's currently for sale in your neighborhood. Just thought you'd like to know. Now, today you have RPR, you have all these different tools that you can use. We track with our coaching program. Anybody who's in the Ninja coaching program has to turn into their coach every week their activities. For example, how many real estate reviews did you do last week? If you did a face-to-face real estate review, 33% of the time, it results in a transaction. If you did phone call, no, we're leaving town. Okay, no worries. I'll just drop it in the mail to you. I'll follow up when you get back. 15%. If you just mail it, 2%. So let's do some quick math here. Your goal is 2 live real estate reviews a week. That's about 100 a year. That's 33 transactions. Would it be worth 2 real estate reviews a week for 33 transactions a year? Absolutely. And most of the ones that I did were informal. I mean, I already have a meeting with them. We're going to coffee. We're going to lunch. I'm going to a committee meeting. I would just take it along. And at the meeting, I say, hey, you got a few minutes after the meeting. I brought something for you about the market. I thought you might be interested. Very, very easy to do. Habit number 8 is the 50 live. What's that? 50 live interviews, face-to-face, voice-to-voice, asking Ford questions. 50 live Ford question interviews. It's not sales calls. And by the way, everything you do counts. So if you had to make 10 client service calls, they count as the 10. Your 2 real estate reviews counts as 2. The 7 people that came to your open house, that counts as 7, as long as you ask Ford questions. The 3 people that you talked to at the game, 4 people after church, they all count. Okay, it's pretty easy to get 50 a week if you're fogging a mirror and you're in flow. Okay, and then habit number 9 is your a set time each week when you update your database and look for matches. Now there's a ninja. His name's Joe Robert. He calls it Matching Mondays. He does his habit number 9 every Monday. You need to know their dreams, family, occupation, recreation dreams. There's a place they live. There's a place they want to be. He asks every one of his clients, if you could wave a magic wand and live anywhere, where would that be? Well, I'd like to live in this neighborhood, or I'd like to live in this kind of house, or I'd like to live on water. I'd like to live on a golf course. I'd like to live on an acreage, whatever it is. He has that. And every Monday, he goes through his database and he calls it Matching Monday. He looks for matches and he sends them those properties. And he generates a lot of business doing that. So that's the Ninja 9.
You're not in control of how many homes you sell in a year. There are 3 factors that impact your productivity. 1 is what you do. 2 is what the market does. And 3, what the clients do. So on your best day, you're only in control of 1 of the 3 forces that influence your productivity. And truth be told, the market and the clients are a bigger influence than what you're doing. You can do everything right. And if there are no homes selling or no clients doing anything, you're not going to make any sales. You can do a lot of things wrong. And if the market is rip roaring, guess what? You're going to do some business. So there are things in my job as a real estate coach. My job, and any of you who have a coach or are thinking about coaching, this will be good for you to understand. My job as a coach is to position my players for success. That's what Don Shula was always trying to do, put each of his players in the best position to succeed and have them prepared for anything that could happen at any time. The thing he couldn't do, the thing I can't do for anyone, I can't go do it. There's a great scene, I'm sure some of your agents have watched the movie Any Given Sunday. Al Pacino gives a halftime speech. I love that speech. It's the closest thing that you'll get to feeling what it's like in a locker room in that heat of the battle moment. And Pacino just lays it out for everyone. Just lays it out. Brutally honest. Football is a game of inches. 6 inches this way, 6 inches that way. However, in the end, the thing that he says is, I can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. What are you going to do? And again, my job as a coach is to put you in the best position, to prepare you in the best way to have the greatest chance for success. You've got to go do the work. And the thing that no one has taught you, the thing that I'm just learning, is you're not wired to succeed. Again, you're only wired to survive. And because you're wired to survive, all you do is chase. Bright, shiny objects, whether it's, you know this as an agent, you know it as a broker owner. I need more leads. I need more people to talk to. I need more appointments. I need more listings. It cracks me up. It cracks me up. And I hope your agents enjoy this and appreciate this. I know you will. I hear all the time, because I coach a lot of top agents. And a lot of top agents think that they should be getting referrals from their broker, as if clients are calling in every day and you've got a whole list of referrals to give out. I owned a brokerage for 5 years. I never got it. I don't remember one call coming in for a referral. So get off this idea that you're going to get referrals from your brokerage. You've got to show up and do the work. And you have to understand, until you rewire your brain for success, you're going to keep doing the same thing that you always done. And you're going to, chase after the leads. The greatest example of this is Zillow. The greatest example of a bright, shiny object is Zillow. Zillow's not the enemy. Let's be very clear. You're thinking Zillow is the answer. That's the problem. Because no bright, shiny object is going to fix anything. One of the things you'll hear me say in my coaching practice, more will never be the answer to not enough. More will never be the answer to not enough. And this is an industry that focuses on one thing and one thing only: production. And everyone has this idea, if they just sell enough homes, everything's going to be okay. Guess what? That's not the way it works out. It's not how much you do that's important. It's how you do your business, how you think, how you operate, how you grow. And that's how my coaching has evolved dramatically. Again, away from lead generation, lead conversion, to building a repeat and referral business based on the 6 standards. And the 6 standards are how you run your business. The standards make your decision for you. We wrote the full fee agent because I want all of you getting paid a full fee. I know how hard this job is. No buyer, no seller can ever appreciate what you do as a real estate agent. It's impossible. It's impossible. From the outside looking in, the job looks easy. I've been on a mission for 33 years to make sure agents get paid their full fee. And oh, by the way, last August, that was your whatever the word is.
It was a gift.
That was
right?
the greatest thing that could ever happen to any of you. The greatest thing. And prior to August, everyone bought into this system of 5 to 6%, as if everyone had to operate in that box. Starting last August, nobody has to operate in that box. You can charge whatever you want. And the top coaching clients I have, they get 3.5% on the listing side, and they charge 3% on the buy side. And I won't be surprised if that number creeps up.
Yeah, and that's it's interesting because that's one of the big things and big lessons in the book. And let's talk about the book a little bit because that's what caught my eye, right? And I'd read Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference before, and I thought it was intriguing. But I love how you've taken it and you've translated it into real estate, so to speak. I mean, how did you meet up with Chris, and how did that come about that you guys wanted to put this kind of a book together?
So one of my clients gave me the book. They'd been to a book signing in Malibu when Chris was there and gave me a copy. And one Saturday, I probably sat on the book for a year or I forget how long. And one Saturday, I cracked it open. And I don't know where I was in the book. I had a major epiphany. And the epiphany was I was doing everything wrong. Everything. And I had been the guy in real estate who was trying to extract emotion out of the equation and boil it down to fact, logic, and reason. And I was a script and dialogue guy. I can't tell you how many thousands of scripts I've crafted in my life. And all of those scripts were designed to lead people to an inescapable conclusion. And it was all about fact, logic, and reason. And somewhere in the book, I don't think it's even written in the book. However, the epiphany was you cannot overcome emotion with fact, logic, and reason. And the way people make decisions, it's based in emotion, period. And so that was the truth for me. The moment I got that, I got it. I reached out. I was able to track Chris's son down, Brandon, who worked with him at the time. I had a call with Brandon. Then Brandon got Chris on the phone. And I said to Chris, everything that you wrote about and Never Split the Difference, of course, the title of the book is what drew me in right from the beginning. Because what does every real estate agent do?
Split the difference.
So, I mean, the title, damn, I got to read that, right? So I said to Chris, everything that you wrote about in this book applies to real estate 100%. Can we put a program together? And he said, great. And we started out with an 8-week negotiation program. It was a 1-hour call, teleconference call before Zoom. And we did more and more of those programs. And then we got together and collaborated and took everything about tactical empathy and put it into the world of real estate.
And like I said, that book, I had the same epiphany. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly where it was in that book, but I was like, oh my gosh. And it is, the whole thing is chasing and convincing is all trying to sell on logic. And you're right, it's on emotion. But I love the book so much, and I want to thank you for working with me to get enough books that I'm able to give every one of my agents a book, So I think it's important that they all get a copy so that they can read it, and that everyone that joins my company as they come on, part of the welcome package of the onboarding is they're going to get your book as well. Because everything we're doing now and everything I've restructured on our training is based around your teachings. And so I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to copy a lot of the stuff you do based on that. So
I just like to say to all your agents, I hope you appreciate the commitment that Brenda is making, because it's a big leap. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to drop everything that you've done for so many years. However, that's what this work is about. I mean, one of the concepts in the book, I'm sure you're going to ask about, is the favorite and the fool.
Yeah.
And this is a huge game changer when Chris introduced me to the concept. And the concept is this: when you get that phone call that you all want, that you all cherish, hi, we're thinking about selling our home. We'd love you to come out and talk to us. Every agent wants that call all day long. And when you get that phone call, then you go into, a sequence of activities. If you're a good agent, you're going to prepare for the appointment. And you're probably going to spend 2-3 hours minimum putting your CMA together, putting your presentation together, all the fact, logic, and reason you can assemble in order to show them how great you are and how wonderful you are. Then you're going to drive out to the home and you're going to step into the living room. And the first thing they're going to say to you is, would you like to take a tour of the home? And you're going to say, yes. And you're going to walk around that home, whether it's 15 minutes, a half hour, depending on the size of the home. And you're going to let them tour you around the home, and they're going to tell you all the great, wonderful things that they've done. And you're going to say, great, 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 great. And then you're going to get done with the tour. And then you're going to sit down in their living room, and you're either going to give a formal or informal presentation, one or the other. And basically, you're going to talk for 2 hours. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to share with them your value proposition. You're going to talk about price. You're going to talk about home preparation. You're going to talk about marketing. And at the end of the presentation, they're going to say to you, my goodness, that was great. You've given us so much to think about. Let us process, and we'll get back to you. And off you go, out the door. No clue. Did I get it? Did I not get it? Replaying this whole presentation in your mind. Why did I say this? Why didn't I say that? Why didn't I do this? All of you know what I'm talking about. And now you're on pins and needles. Do I follow up? Do I not follow up? Do I call? Do I text? Do I email? What do I say? What if they answer? What if they don't answer? You're torturing yourself. And then boom, your phone rings. You see it's them. Your heart starts beating. Hello? It's Steve. Hi, Steve. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Steve, you really gave us a lot to think about. You made a great presentation. Great. However, we've decided to go in a different direction. And your heart drops out of your chest. You can barely say goodbye. You're crushed. For most agents, we're talking 10 plus hours. And the truth is, everyone, when they called you, that initial phone call, they already knew who they were going to work with, or they were leaning strongly in a direction. Everyone has a bias. There is no such thing as an open mind, a truly open mind. There is no such thing as a level playing field. This entire industry is built on an illusion. And the illusion is that you win or lose business and you get paid for your ability to present.